Yeah, so we're on strike again today for the reasons as before, so jobs and pay. I think it's really important to acknowledge that these strikes are entirely unavoidable. So after our most recent round of strike action, we wrote to Wes Streeting with a letter saying that we want to get back round the table and negotiate something to avoid further strike action. He decided not to reply to that, and we had a couple of weeks where we didn't have any communication at all. And then last Sunday he came out with this mixed bag deal with some headlines of some jobs and some other non-pay elements, and then gave us 24 hours to put it to members. We put the offer to our members, and over 48 hours nearly 30,000 doctors rejected it around stopping these strikes, and the doctors that we represent emphatically rejected it. When you look at the deal, the headlines sound good, so 4,000 jobs sounds good, but when you dig down into the details, what's actually happening is Mr. Streeting's just reorganising the deck chairs. He's moving locally employed doctors' jobs around to make national training numbers. So there's no real net increase in doctors' jobs. And what we really need is we need boots on the ground. We need more doctors. We're an under-doctored nation, and we can do that with a sustainable deal on increasing job numbers. And what we want to do is sit down with Wes Streeting and work out a way that we can increase jobs for doctors in a sustainable way, but not just a sticking plaster like this deal was.
Wes Streeting.
So I would say that the NHS is under pressure, not just now, but is under pressure all year long. When I was working in surgery during the summer, so there's the height of summer, no winter pressures and no strikes, I remember getting text messages, from managers at that point saying, we've got no beds now, we need to discharge X amounts of patients today so we can run our cancer list tomorrow. If not, those patients' operations will get cancelled the next day. So whilst there is added pressure at the moment, those pressures are here all the time. With the flu, what we can see is that at the moment it looks like an early takeoff of a normal flu season. We have no real indication that there is going to be a super flu, and I think it's disingenuous to call it a super flu at the moment. There's people like Jonathan Van Tam out there saying that it looks like a normal flu season that's just started a bit earlier. But with regards to flu, people can get unwell from it. We ask you to get vaccinated, stay at home if you're unwell. And with regards to coming to hospital, our senior colleagues stepped down whilst we were on strike. So there's plenty of consultants and senior doctors staffing emergency departments up and down the country. So if you need to come to hospital if you're unwell, I ask you to still come to hospital.
So we're going on strike because the government offered us a partial pay correction and promised us further pay correction. And they've gone back on their word and now offered us a sub-inflationary recommendation for pay rise, meaning that we're not all the way to full pay restoration, which was originally promised by Streeting. But what's developed in the last year or so as well is a severe jobs crisis for doctors. A lot of my colleagues in my stage, once we finish F2, if we don't get into training, we face a serious risk of unemployment. Last year, half of the people who are at my stage now would be unemployed from August. Well, that's the thing. So it's been poor planning. A lot of it is obviously the years of Tory rule that was before this Labour government. But there aren't enough jobs for the amount of doctors that we have. They've been expanding medical school places for years, for over a decade or so. But they haven't been expanding the training programs. Because of the government's decisions, they're cutting, so they're not introducing more jobs. The deal that Wes Streeting offered was a rearrangement of already existing jobs and labelling them as alternative training pathways. So the long and short of it is there was 30,000 doctors applying for 10,000 training jobs last year, and that's just not good enough, and that leaves a lot of us very wanting to work, and we can't work. So we're striking so that the government can offer us more jobs and correct our pay, which is what we originally set out for anyway. We've not changed what we're asking for.